Welcome, everyone. We're going to begin tonight with the WPCA public hearing. It is 7:02 on Wednesday, June 15th. We have two items on tonight's agenda that have been posted. Are there any proposed changes to the public hearing agenda? Seeing none, we will proceed with the first item, which is to consider, discuss, and act upon revising the sewer rate fees for fiscal year 2022 to 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Yeah.
A motion to raise the 2022 sewer usage fee to $4.65 per CCF for sewer users in the town of Fairfield for the next cycle. That $4.65 would represent a 1% increase.
Second.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, all in...
Oh, okay, I just threw out the 1% increase.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
That was the 1% increase. If I can direct you to the chart.
Yeah.
Do you still have the charts, guys?
I was pulling it up.
Yeah,
There you
thank
go.
you.
There you go.
It's easier to see it here.
Okay, so anyway, that current rate is $4.60, and the $4.65 represents a 1% increase. That gets us to $4.65. I'll direct you to the bottom chart. That will certainly cover the $7.1 million gross budget for the department. It will also provide about $200,000 in additional monies that would go towards unforeseen, and that's the gross number. The net number would be about $400,000 less, so that would make it about $600,000 into the pot, into the fees at that 1% increase.
Okay.
Okay, and then you could see going down the column, the revenue totals. If you keep 7.1 million in your mind, you could see where the 2%, 3%, 4% increases would increase the pot, the reserve. Okay, and you'll notice I had to do it on nickel rates, and I explained that to the group. That's the way the system works. We can't do it in pennies, and nobody's been able to explain why, but we just can't do it in pennies. So that's why I'm proposing the lowest increase. That matches the town increase for the tax base. The town increase was 0.0096 for next year. Okay.
Yeah.
So that tees up the discussion.
Yep. Yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about the issues at the plant, the digester, now the composter. Made the analogy before about the old car with parts that start to go, and it seems like parts for plants are in the $1 million to $2 million range when they go in order to be replaced. I'm also thinking about the cost of debt service, which is going up by the day.
Mm-hmm.
And how much anticipatory revenue raising we want to do in light of the increased cost of debt and the projects that we have in the pipeline, whether it's the Fairfield Beach Road Pump Station, the projects at the plant, the interceptor in the Metro crossing, which are all, I don't know what they are. You know, we don't have costing, but we know laying pipe these days is extremely expensive, especially when we're going across a wetland.
Right. I share those concerns as far as, I mean, 1% sounds nice for this year, but not if it results in the next 2 to 3 years having to do a big spike to 8, 10, 15%, because as those projects hit, our reserves will get depleted really quickly.
It's not just those projects, there's more on top of it that are gonna
Right.
keep just,
I think back to, I mean, Joe, you had put together that
Mhm.
spreadsheet
Right.
where it
20
included
years.
our plan for the $60 million plant upgrade, and we were looking at roughly year over year, 4 or 5% to not have a big spike type of thing. And so if we do a 1% this year, at some point over the next 5 to 10 years, we're gonna be paying for that. So,
But where are we with the projects? Now, you know, it just seems like a lot of the projects were kind of planned, kind of not. We don't really know the cost of them, but we know they're gonna be huge. You know, I hear you on that, and I hear you that with, yeah, we got a lot of stuff, but it's like,
Well, let's answer that, because a few of us were at a meeting a couple weeks ago that, in a perfect world, you would have been there instead of me, because they were the discussions about the capital projects with John Marsilio. And the, kind of the tone and tenor has definitely shifted from consider and evaluate to move forward. So it's like full steam ahead on the Metro Center. You know, whether it's a pipe burst or whatever the solution is there from D&B. But I gotta imagine that, you know, that's a $3-4 million project, which is, you know, how quickly can we be shovel ready on that? So I think that's ready to go. I think, we're ready to move forward on putting the pump station out to bid. We're ready to move forward on the interceptor project. I don't know the status of, you know, the directional drilling on that. It seems like that's a really creative solution. But the engineering department with outside consultants is ready to push that forward, and we know that that's gonna be at least a $10 million project. We know that we need a digester fix that's gonna be at least $2 million. We know that we have a composter that's $1 million. So I think it's safe to say that those are all on the 1-year horizon. We'll be writing checks on those projects, ideally within the next year.
and then just like normally, do you go out and get bonding? So we go out and get bonding on that, a lot of that money, so it's like, and then, you know, either way, I think the ratepayers are gonna be paying for it. You know, are we gonna be paying for it with the increase in fees, or are we gonna be paying for it with the increase in bonding amounts that we're gonna get going down in the future too, because our bonding amounts are gonna
Another
go
$2
up
million
too.
in I&I.
You know, I just, yeah, I hate to, it's like, I see everything going up, I see everything that, I hear what you're saying on that, I just hate to keep increasing it, just increase it until we like have, hey guys, this is what we're doing, this is how we're implementing it, and we got $15 million of projects that we gotta, either we're gonna bond or we're gonna start putting stuff away for. I just kinda want, that's kinda what I wanna hear is
So-
different projects.
Just validating what Mark just said, the projects that we see within 1 year to 1.5 years, the ones that this increase or this rate would cover would be about $15 million.
Yeah.
With the exception, I'm gonna say, of some of the maintenance that the plant needs, which is the smaller part of it. Sorry, John, but about $2 million of it, that's the smaller part. That might go to, part of it's gonna come out of his, budget. That was the first step that, we talked about, the digester. And once his budget has been, used, then the rest of it will come out of our reserve. And then what I was talking about with the 1% works with other numbers, anything over the 6.7 net number would be used to service the bonds. Now, bonds, when we first did the analysis was that we were able to get 2%. Those days are gone. And I know you guys talk all about the steel, the cost of steel and the cost of pipe and the cost of, labor. So I think we can assure you that the 15 million is probably a pretty good number and maybe on the low side.
Right.
For the next window, which is about a year and a half, that we'll be doing projects that Mark brought up.
So the last analysis Joe did, which was before you were on the board, Chris, did have, you did send it, but it had, like, I think it was a $60 million number beginning in about 5-6 years. Obviously, that's not happening right now. Maybe that's in the 7 to 10 year range, but either way, we've got newer projects that weren't part of that calculation that are, while not 60, it's 15 and at a higher bonding. And we still have that big plant upgrade on the horizon. Obviously, it's not the immediate stuff. So.
Yeah, to me, it's less of a dollar impact. If 1%, the average ratepayer is going to pay
I saw that too.
$4
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
If we said, let's raise it by 7.5%, sounds like a big number, right? It's $30.
For the average rate.
So it's really more of the messaging than it is the absolute dollar amount.
Yes, but also it's the messaging too, is that, the whole average homeowner is paying that, but then you look at the commercial user there who are using the water, I'm sure Sacred Heart, Fairfield View, a lot of the big ones there, actually 7.5% is a huge number. I just see a lot of the commercial people, the manufacturers in the town, there's not much of them left anymore, but these are big numbers, increasing. And I'm just trying to, I'm kind of agreeing with, kind of whatever you throw out there. It's like, I'm also looking at that, just, these projects are moving forward, and as long as they're moving forward and they're not gonna be sitting here idling, and then next year we're gonna increase it 7.5%.
Right.
And then next year we're gonna be having the same conversation saying, well, we just increased it 7.5%, but we didn't really have any projects this year. We don't really quite have anything in the works. But it sounds like after your meeting that
We have 5 projects that they really want us to push. You'll see 2 of them on the regular
That is-
agenda.
Today, yeah.
then is the 1% enough?
That's the question.
Again, it's 1% is, $70,000, right? Am I reading that right? We're talking about tens of millions of dollars.
You mean current to 1%? Yeah, $67,000.
So we're talking about $70 million
Yeah.
in the pipeline. 1% is $70,000. So again, it's not a percent, it's the messaging.
Right.
And the messaging to homeowners is that, what I think is fair is that sewer rates are going to go up quite a bit. They're probably going to go up 50 to 60% or more to cover the $100 million or so in work that needs to be done. At what point in time do we want to send that messaging out?
Right.
So in your mind, what do you think would be a message to send out to say, guys, these things are gonna go up? Is it 7.5%? Is it 7%?
So-
8%?
My goal would be, I mean, obviously, we're in an awkward time with inflation and everything too, but so save for inflation, my goal would be to try to avoid ever having to do a 7.5%. And so I, for one, feel like one of the 4.4 or 5.5, that's kind of the range that, I mean, it's, for the average user, it's not a lot of money. We're talking about
20% increase.
$20 over the course of a year. That's, right, for the average user.
And you think that would be?
And I think if we
good?
did that, then, I mean, we may have to do something like that every couple of years or every year or something, but at least I would think we could probably avoid the 7-8% increases by sticking to those more moderate ones. That's my gut feeling. I mean, obviously, having a capital plan that's accounting for those numbers would be helpful, but at the same time, that even a capital plan would be a swag at this point based on, I mean, inflation is more than that right now, so.
So it would be like a $15 average increase.
Right.
So then it would be, but it would increase your revenue, it would be about $214,000 increase in revenue, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, using that chart, correct.
Right.
And directionally, that chart is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, just so you know, last year, Chris, we raised it 3.4%,
Okay,
just
okay.
as a base.
So if you do 3.4, 4.4, next year would be 5.4 maybe?
Well, maybe
I don't know.
maybe next year we go into the discussion knowing a lot better.
As the rate gets higher, the percentage doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what you're gonna have to do just to keep up with bonding.
Right.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
You're not, that's just to keep flat.
And I mean, as we've discussed in the past too, though, our rates are pretty in a good position compared to a lot of Fairfield County too.
Absolutely.
John, do you feel as though your operating budget reflects the price increases that I would imagine you're starting to see?
As best I could when I did the budget in November, I didn't see the true effect until later. Like I stated, the chemicals that we were paying last year at $1.36, I'm paying $2.36.
Mhm.
I went from paying just under $7,000 a load to almost 16. It's just, and I budgeted this year $1.77, which I'm 60 cents under already, if it continues to go this way, because it follows the petroleum market. Same thing with polymer for the press, it follows the petroleum market.
And just so the new members know, when I talk gross versus net, John does bring in revenue through the I&I
Yes.
and a couple of other areas
Mhm.
where, we'll talk about nitrogen also
Right.
a little later. But this year, the budget was based on a conservative estimate of that revenue. Okay, so we've got 400,000 in there, rough number.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I don't know if you know the number that we brought in last year, but it was closer to 700 or 800. So we also have that in our pocket as a buffer. But
But
that being
that's
said,
I&I.
every day, this jump,
In my mind, that's
yes and no.
I&I.
Yes and no, because we also bring in the I&I, which we're gonna talk about next, which also covers more than we have. But, this gentleman every day runs into a new piece of equipment that is failing him.
Yeah.
And that's gotta be covered
In the-
here. We've got a 50-year-old plant besides everything else we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So, that's gotta be part of this discussion. So, Mr. Chair, I will make an amendment to my motion. And we can go from there. A motion to raise the 2022 sewer usage fee to,
4.85.
to $4.85, an increase of 5.5% per 100 CFF for the sewer users in the town of Fairfield for the next cycle. So $4.85, which becomes a 5.5% increase.
Second.
Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
You have to open it to the public.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Well,
We're looking for the public.
Yeah,
Make
is
it.
there anyone from the public that I am not seeing?
Okay.
Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Someday Sheila's gonna comment.
I thought maybe,
Yeah, okay. Let's, moving right along. Our next topic is to consider, discuss, and act on a revision of the current inflow and infiltration abatement fee structure. What do we have on this?
Okay, really want to talk about, two things, Mr. Chair. One is, in our current, policy, we have a residential single-family rate as well as a rate for three-bedroom units in a multifamily. I believe that that rate should be the same. Right now, I believe a residential structure has a $2,450 fee attached for a hookup, whereas a three-bedroom unit is somewhere in the $4,200 range. And I see that as, I don't see any difference between a residential house that's gonna have at least 3 or 4 bedrooms and a three-bedroom multi.
But, hang on, you said what, a three-bedroom is in the what range?
I don't have the current rate.
It's 73, or, sorry,
That's what we were proposing. Yeah, do you have the
so-
current ones? I thought it was 42, I might be.
no, the current rate for a three-bedroom was always more, it was at the 7,000 range, hang on
Yeah,
a
well,
second.
6373?
I think that was correct.
Okay.
Uh,
So, all I'm saying is, I'd like to equate a single-family residence to a three-bedroom multi for consistency before we vote on a new rate. In other words, take the rate of a residential single-family and make it the equivalent of a three-bedroom unit in a multifamily, because it's been disconnected for a long time. And I see them as the same, residence.
So, I mean, obviously, based on the calculation, we're equating a residential single-family to a two-bedroom.
Two-bedroom,
I mean, a
right.
residential single-family is gonna be vague. It could be a one-bedroom house, it could,
Could
as
be,
long as
but I
it's a standalone
don't see
building.
that
Agreed,
in
yeah.
Fairfield anymore.
Right, of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. I don't think there's a lot of vacant lots in the sewer, area of town. So, it's kind of somewhat at the
maybe-
margin, but I do think it should be cleaned up.
It was, 63, 73, 62, it was current, it was at,
For the three-bedroom
for
unit.
the three-bedroom
Right,
unit.
that's what I said, 367, 362.
Correct.
It's on the screen.
Uh,
It's on this one, right there, that's the current.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't see it when I first said it. John Clancy, have you pulled a permit for a new residential single? Do we even issue?
For a new residential,
Yeah, where we're getting, not a replacement, not somebody that's left the foundation and built over it, but
right,
a new
you mean
residential.
a demo?
Have you seen any?
No, haven't seen any.
I don't think we have any.
Just the carriage house folks, right?
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be something like that.
So that, I'm proposing we change our policy to, before we vote on a new rate, we change it to make it consistent. I can't see a residential single-family being less than 3 bedrooms. That's, I guess, my issue.
I just see the increase of it is huge.
It is big, and I guess I'm
Right,
just,
but it's a one-off. It's not that it's huge, that somebody last year did it, and now you're gonna come back in and do it again.
It's one-off, but I just see it as, I just look at it as just differently. I'm like, this just gets passed on, and if we're already increasing our I&I, and we're bringing in that, I was thinking from the last meeting that the increase would be more that keeping the rates the same as what was from last weekend and increasing it 25%.
I'm just bringing it up.
No, I'm just saying is that would keep the, I&I increases or kind of us equal to what it is, and the increase in cost on what John's been seeing on pricing going up. There, I don't know, I just hate to see it doubling. How's that?
where does this
Just
number
as a-
come from, I guess, is my question, the 2.61?
That, since I've been on since 2017, that has
Yeah.
been policy.
Right,
I don't- I can't go
I'm
back
curious what that's based
further,
on,
I
and
can't go back further.
instead of us just like playing the numbers game here, I would suggest maybe we try to get that updated, either if it's based on census numbers or any of that
You
type of
mean the
stuff.
formula, the way the
Yeah,
formula?
Yeah,
exactly.
2.6,
Yeah, that's-
he's asking 2.61
Yeah,
people, where does that come from?
Yeah.
Like if,
Actually, we don't, that's, like Joe said, that's the formula that they use.
I agree with it, because a single-family residential, I would think would be 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths.
Right,
At the
exactly.
minimum.
yeah,
But, since you already started it and it was at the 2-bedroom, I thought that was pretty reasonable, and now all of a sudden we're increasing it that much, I just see the increase is huge. That's just kind of what I see.
I mean, I just
could
brought
just be
it up for
writing though an
discussion.
inaccuracy.
You know, if you started that way, and the three-bedroom would be the
Right.
three units, then I would say, yeah, it might be a little different, but I don't know, I just see the increase as a lot. But that's just me.
I'm only one vote, I just thought I'd bring it up before we discussed the rates.
I'm intrigued by it, because you raise a very good point, that I would wanna see Fairfield census data and the number of single-family homes and divide one by the other and actually find out how accurate, because something tells me 2.61 is probably, it probably is closer to the, maybe not 4 people,
Aren't we
3.9.
like roughly 20,000 units and 60,000 people, so
So
that's.
3 per,
It's actually 2.71 people right now, according to,
2.71?
Yeah.
for the 2016 to 2020 period for census.
0.7.
21,176 households.
21,000. Yeah, hold on, I'm just doing some math. Oh, we were at 60,000 folks though.
61,000 town folks, number of residents in Fairfield, 61,000?
Yeah. 61,000.
Yeah, if we went from the 2.61 to 2.71 people, that in and of itself would just correlate to like a 5% raise.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be nearly as substantial.
2.9.
I think, I hear you, but I think if you're gonna increase the residential that much, I would like to see, if you're gonna increase that, I would like to see both of the 3-bedroom and single-family more evened out. So if you're gonna increase the residential from 4886, which was, or 4886 to 73, can we split the difference between single-family and 3-bedroom unit and have them both the same, but lower them, instead of instead of the 3-bedroom unit, it would be $6,300, and they would both be $6,300 then? I know, I'm just saying, you know, where,
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal, because I think over the next 5 years, there may be 5.
single-family residential.
Yeah.
I'd rather not lower
We're-
the
we're
3-bedroom,
really on the margin.
because if we're gonna have anything in this town, it's gonna be
That's what I agree.
multi-buildings,
And I thought that was the one that was subsidizing the single-family residential.
so it's subsidizing our I&I.
I
That's what it's subsidizing. Okay, I just thought I'd bring it
No,
up for
don't be
discussion.
defensive, it's a great discussion.
Yeah,
You know, you think about what.
We might be
what a
splitting
new-
hairs over
what a-
something.
I think we are, but
Yeah,
what the
probably.
cost of a new septic system is,
Right.
this is still great value.
Right. So before Joe threw the curveball, where were we last time?
it was at the same as the 2-bedroom unit, so whatever the.
No, I know, I mean, because last time
You
when
made
we,
the motion at 15%.
No,
right, when we thought,
Okay.
yeah, Chris, I think
I made the
Chris
motion.
came up with,
It was
Right.
15% increase from single, yes,
I wasn't here, I just
Yeah.
read the minute.
Yeah.
15% increase for a residential
It's a good number,
single-family,
correct.
25% increase for
no, I know, but
one-bedroom
which
studio.
ones did we all agreed last time, but then we realized we couldn't actually.
Right, we need to do it in
Yeah.
a public meeting.
So now I'm just asking,
It
what
was-
did, what had we agreed on last time?
It was this,
Right.
it was this,
Right.
except for the single-family residential was
Sorry,
the
what
same
was
as the
Right.
two-family.
So residential. Well, I just remember last time when we proposed it, we proposed a bigger spike on one.
On one bedroom, the 25% on the one-bedroom studio,
25.
and that's
To
reflected
bring it to
in,
the 3,035.
correct, that's reflected in
That's
that,
what we were discussing mostly last time.
yes. it was the studio, which was off,
Right.
Okay,
which we thought was
Too
too
low.
low.
right.
Right, compared to,
Okay, there we are. So 15, 25, 15, 15.
is Ron.
So I guess, I mean, Joe has convinced me as far as the residential number being too low. I would propose the only change for this would be, we keep these same numbers as last time. So 25 for the one bedroom, 15% for the two, 15 for the three. But then instead of 15 for residential, maybe we do like 25 or something also. What does that say? Do you like that, or? It doesn't bring it anywhere near the three bedroom, but it at least,
Yeah. again,
Brings it up from the
This isn't a
two-bedroom.
home that's being renovated.
right, exactly.
This is an empty lot.
The new
Right.
lots that are over on the side by you.
Yeah, across the
We're not
street.
in.
Oh, wait,
we're
this
not in
is-
the sewer.
This
Not
isn't
on
for
sewer.
new,
New construction.
I thought it was just new tie-ins to this, if
Yes.
it's, like, this would affect,
New tie-ins.
right,
Only new construction.
which would, well, no,
No.
any new
I
sewer.
don't, no, I don't think, we don't,
Yeah, you,
this is a question for administration. When somebody tears down a house,
Hmm.
because they're already connected to the sewer,
Mhm.
they don't come in looking for approval to connect to the sewer, right?
No.
Understood.
Okay.
No,
They're already
but there
connected.
are, if we're putting in new sewer, and there are thus new houses connecting, don't they pay an I&I fee?
Yes.
Right,
I'm just saying that's
Right.
few and far between.
right, and we developed policy around approving
And
those
even, and
types
even
of
in
things.
Carriage Drive, we waived it. We
Okay.
waived it. If you recall, we
Right.
waived anybody that, if we put a line in.
So if we are gonna waive
because-
it, then, yeah, so,
Well, we've set precedent.
Then, yeah.
At least we could discuss it again. but
Right,
We waived it the
exactly, yeah.
last time.
so if that's the case, then we can make this number anything, I don't care, 'cause it's just not happening.
That's what I can say, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we do you have a motion?
Sure. So I'd like to make a motion to propose an I&I rate increase of 25% for a residential, single-family house.
And that's 3,036?
I don't know what the
Oh, okay.
number is that would bring it to, because it's not on here.
Okay.
A 25% increase for a one-bedroom or studio unit, which is not on here either. A 15% increase for a two-bedroom apartment, and a 15% increase for a three-bedroom apartment.
second.
Comments, questions? Any public comment? Public questions?
25, 15, 15, 25.
25, 25, 15, 15.
All in favor?
25, 25,
Aye.
15, Matt? 25,
Ron's in
25,
favor.
15?
2 25s, 2
Joe is in favor? Okay. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Did you open that last discussion
Of
to
course I
public?
did. Yep.
I heard him.
Is there a second to close?
Second.
Chris, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so concludes tonight's public hearing. Let's transition quickly to the, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Water Pollution Control Authority regular meeting here on Wednesday, June 15th, 7:35. We have an agenda that's been posted. Are there any proposed changes to tonight's agenda? Yes,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like
Vice
to,
Chairman.
I'd like to make a motion to add under new business, after item 3B, to hear a presentation from Sacred Heart University outlining their current development proposals.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Ron Drew in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, let's call the meeting
Thank you,
to,
guys.
call the meeting to order. First off, I want to thank Joe for running last month's meeting. And, I want to thank Joe for, responding to, I would say on average, 3 or 4 emails per day over the last month. We're fortunate to have you. We really are.
100%.
No
problem.
100%.
Thank you for all your work. We have, item, under, bills and communications, we have the approval of the May 18th regular meeting minutes. Any, comments, changes?
Can you change, sorry, Chris Steiner, I have a, change on 3B in the middle, it says Matthew Manchese proposed an I&I increase. It should be Chris Steiner proposed a I&I rate increase.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which was unseconded by
I
Matt.
seconded, yeah.
The unusual for him to do both.
Mhm.
Okay, any other proposed changes?
No.
Joe and Sheila, thank you for those meeting minutes. They're very helpful to me. Moving on to new business sewer adjustments. We have two sewer adjustments in front of us tonight. We have 95 Barton Road and we have 27 Prince Street. Both appear to be leaks. Does the department and/or Joe want to walk us through those?
Okay, you wanna,
First is, Mr. Spencer on Barton Road.
okay, I will defer to John. John, do you wanna
Yes.
do a little outline?
Yep, Mr. Barton of 95 Barton Road is requesting an adjustment for a sewer leak. He has provided all the documentation, for the spike that he has had the last 3 months, and he's asking for the, WPCA's consideration. He has, proof of, the repairs that have been made, and, he's asking me to bring it forward for your consideration.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, and then I'd like to talk about that. So I'd like to make a motion to adjust the current sewer bill for 95 Barton Road, based on last year's usage rate times our 5% increase for this year, or $616.77. As no payment to date has been made, the ratepayer, by statute, if deemed by the tax collector, may also be responsible for delinquency charges.
Second.
Comments, questions?
This one looks very unusual because included in his package was an invoice for a lot of work that he did on the sewer line. He had tree roots, he had all sorts of things.
Yep.
The sewer line doesn't drive his sewer bill, believe it or not. The water bill drives his sewer bill. He didn't do any work, unlike the other, one we have on here, on the agenda tonight, that actually had a running toilet, which caused his problem. So I find it unusual that the sewer work would have reduced his water intake.
Increased his water.
It wouldn't, huh?
It
Unless it was a toilet.
it's just something that is very unusual.
Yeah.
He had the line jetted and mained and a camera go through there.
Yeah, the
so
sewer
that
line,
helps.
yeah,
absolutely,
Yeah.
but that's not.
Yeah, right.
That's not
Yeah,
what
that
it
helps,
is.
right, right. So,
So that's my only concern
Just
about
wanna-
making this adjustment.
bring that to your attention, to the committee's attention, commission's attention, so,
He got it from Aquarium. Aquarium gave him a rebate on water.
I don't see
The
anything
other one did.
from,
He did
But did he go to Aquarium and ask for, because this is, what is this 27 Prince, what's the address?
This one is
this is Barton Road.
Barton, 95 Barton.
But did he get something back from did he go to Aquarium?
Well, there was nothing on my documentation, nothing in the
He
documentation
didn't
we
provide
received.
anything.
He did not provide any,
So all he provided was a bill.
a water bill,
Of sewer work?
right, and he showed that he did have a very high usage in the period of time, December to April, that's when we calculate our bill, and then it dropped off.
But don't they usually provide the Aquarium?
Not everybody goes to Aquarium.
But usually you would get the water pipe fixed.
Normally
If
what
it's a
happens.
water issue.
Normally it's a water issue. This one just didn't seem like a water issue, and he documented a sewer issue.
Yeah.
I was kinda hoping he'd show, and we can ask him the question, but,
Yeah, they paid a lot of money to fix the
Yeah.
clog
Oh,
line
and his water usage went down
yeah.
in the summer months. It just seemed very strange to me.
Was the clog in the street type
We
apartment?
do have a motion. I mean, I will make the adjustment. I think it's fair. I mean, if you look at his prior year usages, he's been consistent, with his water consumption. Now, for all I know, he had the place rented and they ran the spigots, every day and they had 20 renters in there. But we don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know.
Once he got past that period, his water usage did drop down to
Yeah.
previous years.
I'm inclined to trust him.
So, the motion is a motion to trust him. I just
Yeah.
thought it was just unusual.
Comments, questions, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And begrudgingly.
Opposed? Chris is opposed. Okay. Let's go on to, Mr. Cabrera, 27 Prince Street.
I'll make a motion on 27 Prince Street. Motion to adjust the current period sewer bill for 27 Prince Street using prior year's usage multiplied by current year's 5% rate increase. The adjusted sewer bill would be, and you guys are not gonna believe this, $616.77, the exact number of the last guy. They paid the exact, and had the exact usage, these two houses, last year. Unbelievable.
You gotta show up to see this stuff.
As no payment has been made to date by the ratepayer, by statute, if deemed by the tax collector, user may be responsible for delinquent charges.
Second? Matt, comments, questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ron? Unanimous. Great.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Next item, to hear, consider, and act on a request from Cusidius Engineering for a proposed residential structure, the maximum of 69 multi-bedroom units at 467 Tungus Hill Road. Is the applicant here? Applicant is here. Department, can you walk us through what we have in front of us? Well, let's get an overview from the department, and then we're gonna ask you to present.
Exactly what it says. They're proposing to build a maximum of 69 multi-bedroom units. They've done,
467?
flow study, and by what I see, pipe capacity in manhole one is at 46.7%. Flow capacity at the second is 27. And I'll let him run through the rest.
Okay, that was quick. Please, sir.
Yeah, come on.
Jim, take the head.
Yeah, no.
Don't worry about it.
Take this one. Take this one. You're on camera.
Good evening, Jim Casides of Casides Engineering. So I don't have any plans, as you can see from your packet, to share with you yet. We don't have, the owner's working on the survey, for 467 Tuxas Hill Road. But we're in front of you with a maximum of 69 units. It will most likely be less. But for now, we want to present maximum that could potentially be, proposed and constructed on the site. We have prepared, going back to, I believe it was the beginning of 2020, staff recommended two sewer manhole locations to be monitored, and we did so. I printed out one sheet, as we're kind of used to doing WebEx meetings or whatnot, and bring it up on the computer, but if you want to circulate this around, this is our site, and these are two manholes that EST inserted meters. So we received that information based on the pipe size and slopes. We came up with the analysis, and under proposed conditions and with a flow factor of 4 based on the net increase in flow increase to the system, we have a capacity of, proposed intentional capacity of 63.6 in one manhole percent and 37.4 in the other manhole. So we feel that there's capacity in the system to handle the additional units. And in addition to the flow capacity report, we've prepared an I&I, which will most likely have to be adjusted based on tonight's meeting. Well, we have to come back and adjust it based on the final, units constructed, I have to assume, prior to the permit. So, That is basically our application, and, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Behind Stop and Shop.
I have a question.
Rod's got a question. Mr. Drew,
Hello there.
the
I
floor is
thought-
yours.
I was running in late for the public meeting because I had my invitations at 7:30. Okay, where is this located near Scap Motors there?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay. That's it. I just wanted to know it's in that area. Scap Motors.
So this comes down and then takes a right and, travels along the Rooster River, right?
Yeah, that goes down Kings Highway and ends up going through the train station, the Metro Center,
Yeah.
and that way.
Yeah.
You guys, Chris, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Well, then, I will be put to good use. Close
Sure.
by,
Yep.
in the neighborhood.
Sure.
I have a copy of it.
All right, cool.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
When did the flow monitoring take place?
The report is dated winter of 2020, so it was between January and February.
And John has had the requisite rate.
Yeah, it hit,
flows.
yes.
Right, yeah, exactly.
It actually ran from December 19th to January 29th, from 19th to 20th.
One full month.
You know, we have, Dennis, are you, is your audio on?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Good, thanks for joining us. Do we have
Sure.
some more recent flow information from the I work done over adjacent to the Rooster River?
No, that was prior to that. That was like 2016, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, Matt, well, the whole commission, I was at a meeting where Dennis mentioned that there's a data warehouse of flow data. Dennis,
Yes.
help me out here. The data warehouse of information we have, is that flow data or is that capacity data?
It's flow data. And then we also have capacity data, but only for the main interceptors. We did hydraulics for those, none of the collector sewers, if you will. So,
Okay.
yes.
And that gets updated how, when we do I work, or is that updated some other way?
Well, it's was used for the basis of to determine your I&I problem areas.
Yeah.
Typically, people do flow metering before and after, so they see the reduction. I mean,
Yeah.
after we do another major project, we could do that. It's just, it costs a lot of money to do flow metering. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping that we capture this and we make it available.
Yes.
It is an expensive endeavor.
Yes, I am having someone put that stuff together for you folks that you had requested. It just, there's a lot of information, so.
Thank you, Dennis.
You're welcome.
So, Jim, what was on the site? What's the current?
Currently, there's, 3 units, 2.5, let's call it.
3 houses.
No, it's a single residence,
And-
3 units.
Oh, one.
One building, yes.
I must have missed it. What's the acreage on that?
That is a good question.
It doesn't look like it's a big lot.
It didn't. I mean, I didn't get that impression. Does it?
I don't have that offhand.
That doesn't matter, but I'm just curious.
What's the 467 Tonkus?
167 Francis Hill Road. I usually look them up after that.
Let me just look it up and answer the question. I'm, 2 clicks away.
You said that, John, it achieved the 1 inch.
I don't know if it was 1 inch. I left that paper back at the plant.
Land is, 18,000 square feet, so less than half an acre.
No, we can't do anything about it, other than improve it.
Right.
Yeah, no, we look at flow capacity.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. Motion to approve the application at 467 Tungus Hill Road for no more than 69 multi-bedroom structure, units. Again, this approval will remain in effect for 2 years from the date of this meeting. The I&I rate charged will be at the rate in effect when the permit is issued.
Or a second?
Just one more question, I guess, or is it too late to?
No.
Now, second it, and then you can discuss it.
Second?
Second from
and then-
Chris,
Okay.
comments, questions?
Yeah, so,
Yes.
do we have are there any concerns about downstream? I mean, obviously, I know that they did flow monitoring at 2 points, but is there anywhere downstream of the second point that we might have concerns here, or no?
Well, we don't have to go far. I mean, as soon as we hit the metro station, we have a concern.
Yeah. Right,
And then we go another 100 yards, we have another concern. You know, with the,
right, yeah, exactly.
interceptor, so.
But the second point, though, is the one that there was even less, or there was more capacity available, so they're not straining the 2 points, then I guess.
47 and 26, yeah. 46 and 27.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Ron?
Aye.
Ron's in
Aye.
favor. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
All right, moving right along. Next up, we have the write-in component of tonight's agenda, the Sacred Heart presentation. Do we have any advanced materials? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. You?
I submitted them last Tuesday before the deadline for tonight's meeting and asked that we be on the agenda. But since we're not on the agenda, I don't know if they were forwarded by John Clancy or John Bodie to the commission members.
I did not forward it. I do have what they sent.
Okay, so we'll have an open discussion.
Great. Well, my name's Tom Knowlton. I'm a professional civil engineer with SLR. Some of you were on this commission back in 2018 when I was here last to talk about.
Really that long ago?
It was.
Holy
It
cow.
was, yes. I remember Joe's first night here on the commission. That was 5 years
How
ago.
far
That
it's
was 5
come.
years ago, yeah. And he's already made it up to vice chair. Watch your back. So, so over the last 4 years, Sacred Heart University, as you know, has done some construction projects, added some more buildings on main campus. They've done some work out on West Campus after they acquired the GE facility. And now they have some visions for some additional work on main campus and West Campus. Not as extensive as what we reported back in 2018, but there are some updates to that sewer feasibility study that we did 4 years ago. So I just wanted to come before the commission, make you aware of those changes and what the university is envisioning moving forward. And it seems to be very fluid with the university. As you know, they are growing, and this list could change in the future. And if it does, we'll come back before you and explain what they're thinking about doing. But at the moment, this is the current plan for everything they envision on main campus and West Campus. So, unfortunately, since you don't have it in front of you, the easiest thing might be just to talk about main campus. So some of the changes from 4 years ago, we had what we were calling an East Lot dormitory 4 years ago. The university decided they're not going to do that. They're not going to build a dormitory in the East Lot. But they are going to do the dormitories number 7 and 8 on main campus, which I think you're already aware of. That the design is complete. They actually got conditional approval to get started with site work and I believe foundation work. And we are currently reviewing submittals for that project for civil engineering related components of the dormitory 7 and 8. So we are working with town staff, talking to them about flow metering requirements, things of that nature. So we will be coming back before you in the near future to talk about approvals for Building 7 and 8. But at this time, I just wanted to make you aware of what changes are on the overall construction. So that's it for main campus. Those are the only two changes. On West Campus, there was a natatorium, for a swimming pool, indoor swimming pool that was envisioned for West Campus. That's no longer envisioned for West Campus. That's taken off the list. But they did decide on the West Building Level 2, because that GE building was pretty large, so they're still working in some of those areas to decide what programming they're going to have. But in that West Building Level 2, they added an art and design space. So that's envisioned to have, let's see, that was 50 students and 6 employees. So that added less than 1,000 gallons a day to the total flow. So the net difference is actually a slight reduction in flows from previously. But I guess John, will you be able to share a copy of this feasibility study with everybody? Well, I don't want to put you on the spot to have to review it right now, Joe. So again, I apologize you didn't get it in advance, but so we also have in here, since it's an update to the 2018 study, we talk about the historic flows from the Jewish home and the GE facility, the 2 properties that Sacred Heart acquired and are now working towards incorporating into the campus. And that's historic sewer flow is 53,279 gallons per day. That didn't change from the 2018 study. And then I also have, there's a table in here talking about the projected flows for all of these, for all the list of developments. And we also give a timetable for these developments. Most of them are completed now. Phases 1 through 3 on main campus are completed. The only thing left on main campus at the moment are the Building 7 and 8 dorms, which are, like I said, just getting started. So, and then on West Campus, most everything's completed except the West area Level 2 that I just mentioned for the art and design wing, and then the hockey rink. As you know, the hockey rink's under construction right now, and that's slated to be completed by the end of this year, December of 2022. So we broke down the flows based on our flow estimates for each of the different ones, and then came up with a total flow, subtracted the historic flow from the Jewish home and the GE facility, and then that gives us a net increase in flow for the portion of Sacred Heart that's flowing into the Easton Turnpike pump station. Because as you probably know, main campus doesn't entirely flow into the Easton Turnpike pump station. Some portion of it goes and discharges elsewhere into your system. So this is primarily focusing on what is flowing down Jefferson and from West Campus into the Easton Turnpike pump station. So back in 2019, 2020 timeframe, Dennis Divert from Wright Pierce was involved in that study for the upgrades and replacement of the Easton Turnpike pump station to increase the flow capacity. And at that point, they used our 2018 study that projected the flows going into the future. And there was an allocation given of 50,700 gallons per day. And I'm just kind of trying to give you an overview. I don't want to read this report out loud. I'll let you guys look at it, and you're free to email me or ask me questions in the future after you get a copy. But basically, bottom line is we're still within that allocation, even with these changes that are being made and with Buildings 7 and 8 on main campus. So the net increase in flow that we have for all the completed development and the proposed development is 43,651 gallons per day. And the allocation in the pump station capacity specifically for Sacred Heart is 50,700. So we're still about 7,000 gallons a day average daily flow under the allocation. So that's good news.
On your historic flows that you were getting from what the Jewish home and the GE facility, when were those done?
So that's going back to when Sacred Heart acquired those 2 properties. We were able to get water meter data records for those 2 parcels to determine what the average daily flow was when they were in operation.
So that was when the Jewish home was pretty full, you know, the.
Yeah, when it was operational, yeah, because it's towards the
operational.
tail end, it started dropping
Yeah,
off, and then, you know, they eventually moved out, and then,
So there was, and then the
Taking our
GE
water.
facility was probably somewhat partially operational, or
Yeah.
whatever they had in there. So it was pretty accurate data on kind of what,
yeah, and even though the GE facility was such a large facility, it was still, the meter records only showed 13,748 gallons per day, so, you know, it was underutilized at
Yeah.
that point, but that's
So-
the meter data
so
we
you were
had
taking,
available.
you were taking the meter data, you're not just counting up how many
No.
people could fit in the building and say, okay, what times?
No.
Okay,
No, we didn't do that, it was based on historical water usage, which then equates to historical sewage flow, so, yeah. So normally I would say if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer, but since you haven't actually seen this, I guess, like I said, just here to give an update for you.
Yeah, it's not much, I thought it would be more, complicated than it is. It's actually 2 buildings, 7 and 8.
Mhm.
On the west, let me flip over to the west campus, is the, I saw an email back and forth about discharging of the hockey rink water. Have we reached some sort of consensus on what to do with that water other than putting it into the sewer?
I haven't been part of any of those conversations, I don't know. We have Bill Fitzpatrick here this evening as well, I don't know if you've heard anything, Bill.
Okay.
I mean, I could look into it
Yep,
if you'd like, but, are we talking construction water, or are we talking from the rink itself, or?
From the rink itself, it
There's
was
some-
on your application to the state looking for a permit, and it talked about your rink, pumping into the, to the sewer system.
that was Sam Willoughby from Consigli. That's who I was corresponding with.
Consigli was the, applicant for the,
I conferred with Mr. Baldwin, and I
We don't want anybody.
sent something to Sam to say, you can't let it happen, and I also sent him the regulations that the state of Connecticut allows for pool water discharge.
Right.
So I sent all that to him.
Well, they're not doing the indoor pool, so that's.
Right. These were just 3, I forget what they
Yeah.
call them, one was 3,100 gallons, 600 and 500 or something.
Have we completed a final accounting on the pump station?
I'm still trying to find that out. Nobody knows who sends the bills.
Yeah. Dennis, what did that project come in at, around, roughly round numbers? Is that about
That
4
pump
million?
station, 3.4 maybe? I could look it up while we're talking.
Yeah,
And the force main also, the 2.2 is,
Yeah.
I think you're looking for also, both
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah.
Came in at
Okay.
5.6 or so.
Is there a contamination issue with,
I'm sorry?
is there a contamination issue with, can it just be land applied?
Well, that's, I think, gonna be the question.
Yeah.
But I got confused. They were talking about the hockey rink, not the pool, with that application, right?
Yeah.
It's just confusing.
It's three separate entities at the hockey rink. It's like a cold, what the heck did they call it? There's like an exercise pool where you can go in
Okay.
and then there was a couple of smaller ones for therapeutic reasons or whatever, cold baths, hot baths, whatever.
Right.
And, they were gonna drain them into a sump and then have them pump right out, which we don't allow.
Right.
But as I said, we found the Connecticut permitting and appropriate, and some of them are pretty easy and straightforward, so.
Okay, so we talked about an allocation of flow through the pump station, and we're under that allocation of 50,000. And so is there anything that we need to decide on?
Not tonight. No, like I said, we're working with staff to, talk about flow metering requirements, and then once that's completed, we would come back before you for, your approval of connections sewer connections for buildings 7 and 8.
And the one thing I will again bring up to put on the record, we do have an 8-inch pipe for about 180 feet or so, 200 feet under Stratfield Road by the Stratfield Market. Now, Dennis, you've told me that with the new pump station, we go both Churchill and Stratfield Road for that west campus?
Correct.
So you don't foresee an issue with that 8-inch pipe under that short portion, it goes 10, 8, 10?
No, I mean, not for right now, but if we want to get more flow out of that station, right now we're maxed out. The downstream receiving sewers both are maxed out, so we would need to upgrade that 8-inch pipe if we were to increase the capacity of the Easton Turnpike pump station, which, by the way, was sized for more than it can handle more than what it was originally anticipated to handle. So it's a little, we oversized it a little bit. We were able to get a little more flow out of it without spending any more money. So, but yes, Joe, we are limited by that 8-inch pipe. If we had all the flow going to Stratfield Road, it would not be able to handle it. So we split it. That's why we had to split it.
That's essentially
I wanna hear somebody say we're okay.
I heard him say we're okay.
Yeah, we're okay right
So-
now. Yes, we're okay right now. Yes.
What if we added campuses 7 and 8, buildings 7 and 8, are we okay?
Were those included in a 2018 study?
7 and 8 were not, but we're still within the allocation for
Then yes.
the entire,
Hi, Tom. How you doing?
doing well, thanks.
So the 50,000 gallons a day, 700 gallons per day that Sacred Heart was allocated back in 2018
Yeah,
or
so
whatever
that's a percentage of the total pump station capacity.
Right, and that was allocated already, so that was accounted for?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
with Sacred Heart shuffling things around and deleting some projects, adding others, as long as we're still under that 50,700, then we should be good. Now, at some point, if they ever grow to the point where we have to exceed that, then we have to discuss, what does that mean?
Right.
And like Dennis just pointed out, when I was looking through all the documents and looking at the construction drawings, it looks like the station has a design capacity of 1,040 GPM, but they actually installed pumps that are 700 GPM each. So there's 3 pumps, 1 pump for each sewer force main, and then the third pump is available as a backup, which they can work the valves inside the pump station to discharge to either force main. So really, you only have potential for 2 pumps at a time. So 2 times 700 then would be 1,400. So that's, instead of 1,040 GPM, you have more like 1,400 GPM capacity. So like Dennis said, there's built-in extra, it's conservative, which is good. So if Sacred Heart or another developer in that sewer shed were to come to you and ask for capacity, you could compare that back to what it's actually constructed as.
Yeah. So we can pump it, but
The pipe had capacity expansion.
Stratford Road, yeah.
Well, the thing with pumping downstream is, even if you add more flow going into the pump station, it's still only pumping out at a maximum of 700 GPM.
Mhm.
So I think, Dennis, do those have VFDs, variable frequency drives on those pumps?
Yes, Tom.
Remember-
They're locked out at a certain GPM. So because of that hydraulic bottleneck concern. So yes, they're limited. The speed is limited, I think, to like 57 hertz or something like that. Yep, correct.
Okay, so depending on what flow rate that equates to, if you ever needed to exceed that because of any customer in that sewer shed, then it sounds like that 8-inch bottleneck would have to be addressed. So like Dennis said, it's fine for now.
Yeah, I'm thinking, thank God we got that pump station done. It was expensive, but it's probably 30% more expensive today than.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So for this project, buildings 7 and dorms 7 and 8, when do you think you'll be coming for permission from the commission?
Well, we just had a meeting yesterday, as a matter of fact, with John and Chris Rogers to talk about the flow metering, and I just sent them some information today. So when they have a chance to review it, I'd be happy to talk to you guys. We have another Teams meeting or whatever to talk about that. I'm not sure, do you meet in July, or Do you guys take July off?
If we have something on the agenda,
Okay.
otherwise.
All right, well, depending on how that conversation goes, if that metering is sufficient, or,
I'm just worried
Whatever
about
we could-
other applicants that may come along, specifically that other area where the high school used to be, we're sending them to Bridgeport as a solution. But if there's more capacity coming, that may push that 8-inch line, in my mind, to the forefront. That's why, get in here as fast as you can, so that we can take your theoretical and throw it into the line, is my point.
Mhm. Okay.
How long is the 8-inch?
I'm sorry?
How long is the 8-inch line?
I heard 180 feet.
I keep saying that, that's where I thought it was.
Dennis, do you know how long the 8-inch line is?
You know, I honestly don't recall. I believe it's one manhole to manhole section, so it's somewhere between 150 and 300 feet, so.
But just, hey, Joe, just a question on that. I heard that we've already taken his Sacred Heart's allocated capacity into account on that 8-inch line.
400 linear feet.
But I'm just saying, if they've already have that allocated capacity, they've already paid for it.
The allocation's pumping capacity within that's different than pipe capacity.
But, yes,
That's why they still have to do the.
on
pump
there, but
correction.
I'm assuming that when we did the pump capacity and all that, did we look at the 8-inch line or not, really?
Yeah.
When Sacred Heart was doing their,
Yeah, Dennis just said the 8-inch line can handle it, for what
There.
Sacred Heart has right now.
yes. And I'm just saying, if I was Sacred Heart, I'd be looking at it and saying, well, I've already paid this, I already have this capacity. If someone else comes in, they're not taking my capacity, I already have that 53,000.
No.
I don't know
Right.
that they paid.
Oh, no, I'm just, but we've allocated a capacity for them, is that correct?
I think
Not
we've
necessarily.
conceptualized it.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
conceptual. If they
Okay.
get here first and.
I'm just trying to see, is that
And then
their
if somebody's
capacity?
coming
or
after
is it-
them, then we have an issue.
Well, the study that Wright Pierce did lay out all the flows that they saw coming in, plus future potential. And there was another developable property in the sewer shed that could potentially
Yes.
come to you and ask, so there was an allocation for that property as well. So if somebody comes in with something crazy in this sewer shed that's not already allocated, then you do have to take
Yeah.
a hard look at
But
it.
we've looked at all the allocation kind of to your,
Anything we
Right.
do at the time,
yes,
absolutely.
okay, no, I just wanna make sure at
Yeah,
least,
It's point in time,
yes,
but it's still, even though we've calculated it, if Sacred Heart doesn't get in before somebody else, and we approve somebody else, Sacred Heart comes back to us, and we don't have capacity, that's where, that's the game we play.
mhm.
But I think at that point, they would say, we have a 50,700 gallon per day allowance.
I'm not
so-
saying we don't,
Yeah.
Dennis,
Yeah.
I think we do.
Right.
Okay, so, not being an engineer, just being a guy on the sewer commission, I would think that a flow monitoring point would be around that 400 linear feet. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's my value add.
Good one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we did do flow metering up on Jefferson, right downstream of where the two connections are coming from main campus. And the thought there was to see, because a lot of these are estimates that we did, right? I mean, they were estimates based on similar facilities on campus, other dorms, water meter records, things of that nature, but they're still estimates.
Yeah.
And there's been a number of them over the past 5 to 8 years. So we just wanted to have a comfort level that what's actually coming off main campus, how does that compare to what we estimated? And actually, it was, the information I sent to you guys this afternoon showed that we were within 3% of the total. So on the, I forget the number, but,
And that's while school's in session?
yes, that was in April while school was in session, so,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming in, and next month, or whenever we have the flow data.
Yeah, if we're able to work out the flow metering and to staff satisfaction, we can come before you next month or
We're gonna,
the next meeting after that, whatever.
Do we need to do flow monitoring for what they're proposing?
I think on this 400 linear feet section,
Somebody asked Dennis that question, say it again.
Well, I think that we've already proven that the system can handle the allocation they came to us with in 2018. So I don't see the need to do anything further unless they were asking for more. Right? Because we designed the pump station to handle the allocated flow that was provided to us in 2018. So if they're not going above that, we've already done that work.
Well, Tom mentioned recent flow data from April, is that correct?
Yeah,
Can we
Sacred Heart, that's what I submitted to John and John this
While
afternoon.
school was
All
in
right.
session, right?
Correct, in April.
So,
So that,
And that,
like, no, please.
and that was 3%, that was.
That was within 3% of our
3%
estimate for everything on main campus that has been completed and is in service today.
And the
Yeah,
allocation that you have was based on your estimates
correct,
from 2018.
correct. So we just wanted to validate that because estimates are estimates, right? So we could either be, high or low, and you don't know until you actually meter. So we just wanted to make sure of that so that we weren't coming to you with numbers that were artificially low and not know it. So that's why we did the metering, so.
And since 2018, has anything significant been added uphill of the line?
Well, Sacred Heart's kind of at the high end on
Not,
just,
not beyond Sacred Heart at this point.
yeah.
Just Sacred Heart.
So if they've already done the flow metering in 2018, and they're within 3%
Well,
of their estimate.
That was April this year. April.
No, but I mean, from the 2018 study
Oh, right.
that you did.
Yeah, we did flow metering then, right?
So you did flow metering in 2018, you're within 3% of your estimates from that. There's been nothing added in uphill of the line. Is there a need for flow monitor? That's just a question.
Leave that to the engineers. Dennis?
That's what,
What's the
Dennis,
current
what do
flow
you?
in the 8-inch? I mean, it's not, that's the only thing we're concerned with right now, right? The 8-inch pipe? What is the current flow in it? I mean, is all of this new dormitory flow, is that like, I mean, that's the biggest contributor to this 8-inch pipe, right?
Well, the other thing
Or
is
is there
if
already-
we monitor it now that, you know. no
Well,
one
there's,
can-
guys, sorry, there's nothing to monitor, right? You're discharging the discharge of the pump station goes into this line. There's like nothing it's at a dead end manhole. So
Got it.
you don't really have anything else in the line. So
I wasn't sure where the 8-inch pipe
Yeah.
was. Thank you, Den.
you got it, no problem.
Okay.
Do we
Yeah,
have
there's
mapping?
no reason to.
John, do you know if we have mapping on that section? Because we could look at that based on the slopes between the manhole and calculate what the flow capacity is of that 8-inch, that existing 8-inch.
Yeah, we did that, Tom. We did a sewer CAD model of Stratfield Road to determine how much we could pump to the line based on the size and the slopes.
I thought that was an influence.
See, that is way ahead of all of us,
Lift
isn't it?
station, not-
Together, we'll figure this out.
Right, so yeah, from that, you could throttle the pump if you needed to.
Yeah, that's what we have to do. We had to throttle the pump back to like what it was, 700 gallons a minute. Anything over 700, we had a full pipe in the 8-inch.
Okay. I mean,
Did you say anything over 700 GPM? You'd have full pipe in the 8-inch?
Don't quote me on that number. There's a threshold value. I don't recall exactly what it was, but it was
Okay,
less
alrighty.
than what we needed. It was less than what we needed.
That's right. Well, that was the sole reason for splitting the force main flow, right? To do two
Exactly.
different discharges.
Yeah, the other
That makes
option was to replace the main down Stratfield Road, which was a state highway, and it was gonna cost millions and millions of dollars. So that's why we went with the 2 force mains.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Thanks, Dennis.
Mr. Chair, can I just ask a
Sir,
question?
yes, sir.
I'm Phil Fitzpatrick for Sacred Heart. Am I correct that if we resubmit this with the updated April 2022 flow metering the town just completed, that as far as the commission is concerned, you could hear this in June, July, and that no more flow monitoring based on Mr. Hebert's?
Sounds like we're close to that. Sounds like, I think we're like that close to that, but let me just caucus of the commission.
Okay. University
Yeah.
obviously is anxious to make sure we have no issues.
Yeah. Well, I think-
They got conditional approval to start the, site work, but
Yeah, so,
they don't have full approval from the commission yet for the connection, so.
yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like we've thought through the 8-inch pipe in splitting the flows. I'm personally comfortable in not requiring more flow data monitoring.
And I am comfortable based on what I've heard this evening.
Matt?
I mean, we won't get any new valuable data, or, I mean, there's no reason to do.
Right.
I agree.
Ron?
I just have one question. It's probably just a,
mute.
no, I'm not on mute.
No, you're.
You're okay now.
Okay. Maybe get a little closer, I don't know. Where is the, when you said there was dead end up there, near the end of it there, where does Yale New Haven come in the picture? Does that go to Bridgeport? No,
Yeah.
the new building on
Yeah.
Madison Avenue up there by, exit 47?
Yes.
I know it because I go there almost every day. Okay. Is that Bridgeport?
Yep.
Yes.
There's the answer. Thank you.
Okay. So that's the commission's position, and we'll see you in July.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, let's keep going. Next item.
For me.
Yeah, I think so.
Discuss and approve $3.5 million required for the design and upgrade of the Fairfield Beach Road Pump Station and Force Main. Mr. Bodie, what do we have here?
We have to do all the internal components of the pump station, pumping, pump, piping, anything metal in there, ventilation, and we have to do the force main. There was a study done back in 2016, and then I asked Dennis what a good number to put on it, and this is what he came up with. Now, the force main has had issues in the past where it failed, and we had to repair it. The building would also have to be checked out to make sure it could withstand. There's nothing wrong with the structure, but
So this goes back down Fairfield Beach Road, up Reef, and then over, or does it go through the little creek there?
no, it goes down Fairfield Beach Road. There's a force main, I don't know how long it is, but it ends up going gravity. But what comes across the creek is what comes from Pine Creek Pump Station. So Fairfield Beach Road goes down Beach Road.
Yeah.
Then gravity down Reef into us.
Yeah. So it's kind of been on the radar for a while. We talked earlier about the projects. This, might be a design build, or I don't know how we go about it, but help me, Joe, you might know the answer to this. We think this number is a pretty good number, but we don't know. We approve it, then we go to Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance, and they say, how'd you come up with the number? And we say, we took an old number and we...
Well, I conferred with Dennis, and he kind of came up with 3.2, and then we figured 3.25, we'd add another 250,000 for engineering, and
But then we go out for bid,
it
let's
comes in
say,
at 4
it
million.
comes in at 4,
Yeah.
then we go through the cycle again, and people say, or committee, commission, bodies say, why the cost overrun?
Yeah.
Right. So, does it make, can we go to bid without a budget?
Go to bid for what?
I mean, just like,
Like design and then
build.
put it out
Yeah.
to well, are we trying to do, so design build is mostly just a schedule saver.
I don't know what the department, and engineering.
You can go out to bid without, if you don't know how much it's gonna cost, you wanna know how much it's gonna cost before you go through all the board approvals, you just have to put an extended hold time on the bids. So
Right.
instead of them holding the bid for their number for 60 days, you figure out how long it's going to take you to go through all the boards. If it's 4 months, then you have the contractors, you'd have to put in the documents that they have to hold their number for 120 days. And it means
Which you
that
might
you would
lose.
not award the project to anyone until you've gone through all those board approvals.
You might, or they're gonna estimate inflation.
Yeah,
at,
exactly,
you know,
right.
at a
But
great-
especially
yeah,
with,
they're gonna just
especially right now
bump
with
it up.
material costs
Yeah.
being so volatile,
So.
you're not getting
so,
good numbers
you know,
doing that.
We're blessed having you two on the commission. What do we do?
If I was bidding it, there's no way I'd hold the number for
Yeah.
120 days
Right, yeah,
now.
exactly.
So what do we have?
Cool, you couldn't.
How long, Dennis, have you started design on this?
No, I could tell you what you want to know how I came up with that number. I think it's important for you to know. In 2016, we did a cost estimate and it was 1.9 million. So I took the ENR indices in 2016 and I took the ENR indices in May of 2022 and applied that number, and it went from 1.9 to 3.5 just by that. So
Great.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah. And that ENR indices is going up, double digits
I'm
every
sure.
month.
Back to the public meeting.
So how long does so I mean, what I would do, I think, is proceed with design, get to either 60 or 90%, or even get ready, like, to bid it. Have the design engineer put together a revised cost estimate that, at that point, they'll be putting together a cost estimate based on an actual design instead of a concept. Go to the Board of Finance with that number, either in parallel with bidding or do it a couple months ahead of time. And that way, you kind of run those two parallel paths.
What do you think?
That's how I would.
So then what I'm hearing, and we've got to approve money
For
for
design,
design.
right.
And are we in the same boat? How much,
Design shouldn't be as
but that's the number we need.
volatile.
The problem we've got is we need money for design, we need to come up with a number for design. I think it has to go through the boards.
Oh, it does.
Well, why don't you, John, I mean, you got to figure out, although I would love for you to just ask us to do this, I mean, I don't know if that's going to fly. You might have to go out for RFQ, or if you have that on call, you select your on-call engineers, then you ask for price proposals from those pre-selected engineers, and then you don't have to go through all this nonsense.
Well, there is an
That's what I would
RFQ or whatever it is out now that they're gonna put out now for engineering.
The on-call?
Put it on that.
This would be the
So-
town-wide thing, which.
Yeah, I would do that. I
hasn't
would
been-
select your engineers, and then I would say, okay, well, out of these 10 that we selected, these 3 are qualified for pump stations. We're gonna ask them for a fee proposal. And there you go. That's it.
Dennis, how much would it cost us to do a design for both the, pump and the force main?
I mean, I want to say around $200,000, probably 250. I mean, you have to do a survey. You got to survey the main route. Got to do geotech. I mean, there's a bunch. There's hazardous testing, stuff like that. So
The 3.5, the numbers we keep talking about with the town is for bonding. If we approve 200,000 to do the design, the initial design, out of our reserve, and get a good number, then we go to the town with that better number.
Yeah,
I mean,
makes sense.
that's what I would do.
Yes,
I
sir.
still gotta go through the boards.
Not with the 200,
Yeah.
because that's not bonding.
It's not money budgeted.
It's not, it's,
For the compost machine that you gave me money for, I had to go through all 3 boards. For whatever it is,
well, it's certainly a lesser, 200,000, whatever, we'd make it 250. That number is a lot less.
Go three.
And if to go to the boards, with that number, they pass it a lot more
I
quickly
hope
than the
so.
3.5, and we'd be less exposed.
So-
Who approved your budget? Can we revise the budget?
No,
No.
the budget's the town budget. goes to the board for, to
So it's
select
not, it's
people.
not just our budget, internal budget that we would just,
It's
we-
to deal with, but
They see the budget. We propose the budget, they approve the budget. Now, here it is. If you wanna spend more money than what you budgeted, well, now they have to approve that. They wanna look at what it
So
is.
we should put some of this in next year's budget for these types of
Engineering
endeavors.
services or
Yeah.
something.
okay, and then we'd also cover it with rate increases, because we're covering, with those rates, we cover his budget.
Right.
It all flows nicely
Exactly, yeah.
when we do it right.
We do have an engineer coming on board as our own.
Right, in-house.
She's starting July 11th.
Can she do an estimate for the design?
I could
but
ask
there's
her.
nothing, but there's no design.
Yeah.
Okay, could she do an estimate?
There's no design.
Unless
But we
she's
don't
doing
need a
the
design, but we don't need, could she do an estimate for the design and implementation? Could she give us a number, just like we're asking
I don't
Dennis?
know that she has
Yeah.
any sewer background.
Oh,
Well, and even if she did, I mean, she's not putting, without an actual design, she's not giving us an estimate any better than this
Okay.
one.
I think Dennis gave us the estimate, he got
Yeah.
250,000 for,
Yeah,
estimate for.
actually, I just checked our agreement, our executed fee to design the Easton Turnpike Force Main and Pump Station was $298,000, so, and that was 2018, so, I mean, the Force Main is less complicated, but the pump station's probably more complicated, because we're renovating an existing, so I would say 2 or 250 is probably appropriate for the design.
I gotta tell you, there's not a lot of space around that pump station.
how do you harden it? How do you protect it from what could possibly happen to it on Fairfield Beach Road? Does that enter into this at all?
What, like?
Oh, yes.
Water?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that has,
It was that close in Sandy.
yeah.
Flooding?
So
You won't be
without
able
the
to
addition-
upgrade the station if you don't harden it. I mean, the DEP's gonna require you to harden it.
So then either way, even if we don't get, either way, we're gonna have to go back to the Fairfield, the different boards and get approval for even a 250,000. But don't you think it would be easier to go in and say, let's just say, hey, we got $300,000 that we want to put together for design engineer, just so at least we're covered. We'll go out to bid it, get that, then we can get hard numbers, 60%, like what Matt is saying, and then we could actually have actual numbers that we're approving to the town.
Confident with.
Right.
Because I would hate to go to the town and get a $3 million, whatever we have here, and then go back to them and say, yeah, by the way, we need another 500,000 or $1 million, and
So,
I
so
don't-
another suggestion is, one advantage of the design build is you're designing it in the
Hey, Dennis, you're breaking
Yeah,
up.
we lost you a little bit there.
I thought we couldn't do a design build.
Why not?
But I thought we couldn't, because we had to go out and bid it either way. We gotta design it and then have 3 qualified
No,
bids.
I think we're trying to get to the number, and then anything we do with that number, design build, as long as it's in there, covered.
Yeah, go.
Dennis? He's lost.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm- I'm here,
Oh, there you
sorry,
go.
I lost you there for a minute.
Yep. So we lost you right as you were talking about design build.
Oh, no, I was just saying, one advantage of design build, and it does have disadvantages, is that you're working with a contractor who's developing costs as you go along with the design. So you'll know every step of the way how much it's going to cost. And that price would be a guaranteed price by that contractor engineer team. They would say, this is what it's going to cost. I mean, ideally, that number wouldn't change, but it always seems to. But
Right. How does it start? I haven't been involved in design builds. Do you know like what the starting point is as far as, I mean, even just like if we go out for an RFQ for design build on this thing, how are we selecting the team? I mean, if cost is a factor at least. So.
yeah, you'd have to base it on qualifications and experience. Yeah. I mean, we do design build with Veolia all the time. We don't really do design build with municipalities. It's just something that they don't do.
Right,
Except
yeah.
for, yeah, it's just,
Okay, and so
I
I
mean-
guess then, in
Yeah,
that
sorry.
situation,
Go ahead.
if you picked a team based on quals, then at like 30%, you get your first cost estimate. If you don't like it, then you just get rid of the contractor or the
No,
team?
I don't know. I'm not really certain about that. I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. Or you change the scope, you cut stuff out, you know?
Okay. But you're married at that point, though.
Yeah.
So
All right, so it sounds like we need $250,000 to go and get a design, or at least a budget. That's the
Say
number, that 300?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, leave yourself contingency, even if we're expecting base scope of 2 to 250. Let's have additional soil testing or additional alternatives analysis, whatever we need, but.
Okay, so in front of us, we have discussed and approved $3.5 million required for the design and upgrade.
But we can
Modify.
parse that into a motion to approve up to $300,000 for the design of the Fairfield Beach Road Pump Station and Force Main.
Mm-hmm. Second?
Second.
Matt, comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Otherwise, we'll never get going on this
Yeah.
project.
Okay, great. That was a really worthwhile conversation.
So then how does it go from here? Now it goes to John, and John's gotta bring it back to the town boards. So that's what, another 3 months?
Yeah, 'cause, I don't know if the RTM meets in July.
Yeah, no, it meets in July, so
The RTM.
August.
I really want to get a
August,
better
September,
understanding of how
October.
we can avoid that process. At least minimize the amount that we have to do that.
Believe you me, I'd be your best friend if you could find a way to avoid it.
Well, like the on-call type of stuff, like if we actually have engineers on, like, I just want to find out if there's a way to,
Hopefully the
where we can manage our own budgets type of thing.
Yeah.
So, John, your task is to find out when the next Board of Selectmen meeting
Yep.
is, and get that on the agenda, tell them we need $300,000.
Yep.
And tell them we'll spend our own money, we don't need it bonded, we don't need anything, we'll take it out of our reserve, not your budget,
Right.
our reserve.
Right.
All right, let's, cover nitrogen so we can flip back to Dennis.
Real quick, every year, the state has a nitrogen number that you're supposed to be under, pounds wise. This past year, we made $44,247. In the past, that money goes into the town's general fund because they're paying the payment on the plant upgrade or whatever. I think Jared said they made the last payment recently on the last plant upgrade, so maybe we'll
Yeah,
get
that was
to
the last payment from the from the
2000.
last bond, the 20-year ago,
Right.
2002 bond.
So,
They just did that.
I'm not sure where this money's gonna go, I just wanted to let everybody know we made $44,000.
And it's not in your budget as a revenue item, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I care about.
Very helpful.
They give,
Okay,
to get.
moving
the cake.
to old business, we have, item A is to discuss and approve the Wright Pierce Engineering I&I investigation and analysis fee of $361,200.
Which I sent in backup,
Yeah.
which, I don't know where it is, but.
Dennis, that's phase 5, right?
Yes, it's phase 5. It's a continuation of the 2016 work that never carried through, basically.
But if I had to name it in a motion, it would be phase 5,
Yes.
right? Or,
It's phase 5 I&I, yes.
Did I hear a motion?
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chair.
Sir.
I'd like to make a motion to approve phase 5 study of the I&I project for Wright Pierce Engineering in the amount not to exceed $361,200.
I'll second.
Second from Matt, comments, questions?
Yes, Dennis, what if we do it?
Yeah, I was just struck by how much of that's subcontracted out, and, how it's,
CCTV work?
now it's so much easier for Dennis to go out and sub it than it is for us. Might take a while.
Right.
Okay, all in favor?
Dennis,
Aye.
Yes.
Ron Drew, unanimous.
is there any, what part of town are you addressing next? Is there any specific to this study? Just for the,
There was a map included with the proposal that highlights the areas that we're going to be looking at. It basically skirts the East Trunk Interceptor, a lot of the collector sewers that go into that.
thank you. I just want to be on the record, Dennis. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Hey, Dennis, well, I think I might have asked you before, but have we done anything to kind of track, any metrics to see how we're doing as far as I mean, being phase 5 of the I&I thing? Do we have anything to kind of say, hey, look, here's how much we've reduced I&I over the course of the program?
So I had worked with Bill Norton on that when Save the Sound was harping on you guys a year ago or so. And we had developed made some assumptions and figured out how much we had removed based on the work we did in the 4 phases. The problem is the only way to really quantify it is flow metering before and flow metering after.
Exactly.
I think though that with this larger phase, so we basically fixed everything. We've fixed everything that can be fixed. And the stuff that you still know about that needs to be fixed is the East Trunk itself. So we have to find more stuff. And the only way to find more stuff is you got to spend money to find it. So that's what this whole project is.
Right.
But yes,
from
Matt,
what
I think maybe we could do a better job of tracking things as we enter this next phase. Absolutely.
Sounds good. What were you saying, John?
So, from what I see, this has no factual basis to it, but since we started doing I&I and we started removing it, I've seen flows in the summertime lower than I've ever seen before. So we're doing something.
Right.
I can't quantify it, but it's helping.
That's helpful.
Do we even have, like historical flows coming into the plant?
Historically low or historically high?
Like records,
Data.
like the actual data. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah,
so,
we have.
like year over
We
year,
have
just
flow data
average
going back,
monthly
yeah, we can go
flows
back
of-
20 years.
I mean, obviously, we would have to remove any new development type of thing, and obviously, if like people are leaving, then the opposite. But, I mean, just kind of seeing those trend lines and stuff
Way back, we used
would
to
help
see,
a little.
heavy rain-wise, we used to see 24, 25, 26 mil. We're not seeing that as often.
I guess, yeah, the peaks would actually be pretty useful to see too.
Yeah, for me, this is cost of doing business. You have a $300 million infrastructure that you're gonna spend a few $100,000 to TV monitor and inspect. I don't think it's overreaching at all.
Oh, I'm very supportive of this type of work. I wanna show it off.
Yes,
So, yeah.
Okay, so,
Average-
that's an excellent,
even-
an excellent segue into our next point, which is to discuss and approve funding for phases 5
Yeah, there you go.
of the I&I work totaling $1.5 million. Who wants to provide some commentary on this?
Dennis?
Well, this is a little confusing to me, I think. It may be confusing to you. It was my understanding that you had 1.5 million for I&I, and you were going to pay for our field work out of that 1.5, and then you were going to use the balance of that to start fixing stuff that we found. Is that accurate, John? Bodie?
Well, I mean, the number that was thrown out, the number that was kind of used as a placeholder was like 1.8, so.
Oh, right, okay,
figured
so then
that-
it's the two together, added together, yeah. Okay.
Right. I just figured you gave us a number for the analysis and whatnot, so we might as well keep that separate, and then the rest of the money can go right to whatever you find and fix.
Right, but this is
With-
money that you already have. This is I&I funds, correct?
I'm not sure we segregate the funds in our account. I think we can identify them, but I'm not sure that we segregate them.
Well,
Is
okay,
this a
so I
part-
guess it was my understanding, like John said, that $1.8 million was earmarked for I&I. John Marsilio said, go fix some stuff. And I said, well, we can't fix some stuff until we find some more stuff. So that's where the
Yeah.
361 comes in. So that's what I know.
Okay.
So Dennis, whenever we give you the 300,000 to the, whatever number that was.
360.
361?
361, 200.
Right. How long will it take you to identify
Good question.
Yeah, that's,
the
so,
work that you're gonna spend another $1.5 million on? You're gonna come back to us and say, hey, I got Rooster River, I got Ash Creek, I got Thorpe Street, and then 10 other places, and then we're gonna say, okay, we got $1.5 million, let's allocate over what our most important ones are? Is that the way it works? Sorry?
Not gonna cover any of them.
No, but I mean, I just wanna know how it's
yeah,
gonna
so,
work.
exactly. So we would do the study, you know, that, and then we would have to put another package together for the next phase to do the rehab. So that would be probably like $20,000 to put the package together. And then that 1.5 million, that's paid to a contractor to make the fixes. That's what that money is for.
Right. But the money we just allocated to you to do the design, to do the
Yes.
investigative work,
Yep.
the 300,000,
Correct.
how long before we get a work product?
So, I mean, we'll be finding stuff as we go along, but it's an iterative process. So one thing we're doing is smoke testing. So we'll probably do smoke testing this summer in August when it's dry. You want to do it when everything is bone dry. The smoke testing. Then we'll do house-to-house inspections.
Now, I'm asking the question for a reason. We may not vote on this $1.5 million. I may want to postpone it to a date certain when we have the results of your work done, is my point. But
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
sorry.
other hand,
Can you hear me now?
Dennis?
Yeah. Can you hear
we
me?
can hear. Yes.
Sorry, no, it's gonna take a good chunk of time. We have to do some work is done in the summer. We do the smoke testing in the summer when it's dry, so like August-ish. The house inspections we could do right away. The CCTV we could do probably, I'd probably do that in the fall. So I would say by the winter time we'll have a good, by the winter of
Okay.
20.
So,
Yeah.
22. So by the winter of 2022, you will have, and it sounded like you also needed another 20,000 for the report, but I will.
No.
Okay, I want to make
No.
sure because otherwise we'll approve it now. So at the winter of 2022 is when we should be approving funding because then you'll know how much you need.
That's right.
So
That's right. You got it, Joe.
If we approve $1.5 million, that may be too little.
I
much? We
would hold off on that until you have a better idea of what you got to fix. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I get you now. It
Thank
took
you.
me a
Now you've
while.
answered my
It
question.
took me a
That's
while.
where I was going. That's what I was going
So it
for.
sounds like there's a motion to postpone.
I'd like to postpone item 4C under old business to a date certain of November's meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
Oh, second.
Second.
Comments?
Questions?
I got
Yes.
Go ahead.
just one question, just general. This $1.5 million was in the budget, so you wouldn't, if we approved it tonight, you wouldn't have to go back to,
No, it's not in the budget.
Okay.
It's gonna have to get approved.
But the
So you-
361,000,
comment.
what, the
We've got to
361,000?
get approval for that.
There's 400,000 in the operating budget for I&I.
Okay.
So if we don't want to go through the whole process, we'll just use that 400,000 first to do the study,
Mhm.
and then we'll go from there.
Go
Yeah,
on,
brilliant.
more of that.
And then that doesn't require any board approvals, and we don't have to wait.
Okay,
And if
so,
we, you know,
whether or not it's $1 million, $1.5 million, or $3 million, it's the same long process of
Yeah,
having to
so-
go
correct.
through. Okay.
All right, but
Item
we
in
just,
front of us is, can we vote on this?
but wait a minute, 3C, I just heard something different from
To
John.
postpone to November? Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
3A, I just heard something different from John. You've got 400,000 in your budget to do that
Yep.
work. Discuss and approve
I think that was that, right?
361,000.
So he doesn't have to go to the
We don't-
board
You don't have to go to the board for that.
Right, no,
for that.
Okay,
no,
that's good.
yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, thank you.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
But no matter what, we were gonna have to go.
We have to go to the board for the $1.5 million.
And so I agree, so, yeah.
Once we know how much that $1.5 million is.
So the
Seconded.
motion
I'm
is
in
to defer the $1.5 million to November.
Right.
Meeting.
Yes, can we have a vote on that? Ron?
I'm okay with it.
in favor, unanimous. Terrific. Provide an update on the agitator and dolly. Sounds like a couple of,
Finally got the PO, it's been ordered
for the,
for the new one,
yeah.
so hopefully by spring.
Was there any change in pricing?
Nope, nope. They held it, they trusted us, and as soon as I told them, you know, it's going through the boards, they started sourcing stuff that they thought would be a hot ticket, so they kinda
Right.
squirreled stuff away.
So how much was it for, John?
540,
Nice work, John.
and that's what you guys approved back in,
That's what I said, yep, we're good,
back whenever.
Okay.
good.
And the digester repair.
Digester repair, Dennis says he'll have something, put together by the end of the month for a bid document. And, once that gets approved by the town or whatever, it gets the blessing, it should go out. And then we'll see what we're up against. I have not heard anything back from the insurance company. Like I said, the insurance adjuster came out, looked at it. I don't know where that's going.
What are you expecting back from him? An estimate of,
What I'm expecting back from him is whether they're gonna cover it or not. Because apparently the structures, the buildings are insured. So,
Okay, great.
so we'll see.
Remain positive on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's go, through the current projects. Item 5.
East Trunk Wetlands, we're supposed to have something from D&B by September. As far as
Design,
yeah,
okay.
Marsilio said, do it. Get it
Yeah,
done.
you had forwarded some information,
Yeah.
looks like they just kinda crapped on everything and said we're gonna keep going forward with what they.
Yeah, I mean, we had a discussion before this, and we were kinda going back and forth. Mark Barnhart was there. You know, what can we do? And then Marsilio came in and said, listen, call D&B, tell them to design it. And if
Okay.
we bid it, we can put in and add alternate directional drilling, whatever they wanna do, but just get the documents, get it done,
Okay.
go. So,
Okay.
I think September 12th was the date that D&B said, but don't hold me to that. The hardening project.
Semi-related, although
Yeah, yeah.
it's completely, I mean, it's a very related tangent. I bid a project in, Massachusetts for trenching water pipe and got a good quote from a contractor. We awarded, and they just yesterday asked if they can go directional drilling. It'll save $50,000.
Really?
Shave 3 weeks off the project, so.
So hopefully that's where we end up.
So just throwing it out there.
I just don't, with it being on the piles or whatever, I don't know if that's gonna
Right,
cause
I
an
mean,
issue.
I was concerned about it being through wetlands.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
Yeah.
that's possible, but.
Excellent segue into the interceptor.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
But anyway, didn't mean to.
no, as far, the East Trunk is
What do we have on the interceptor?
nothing, and I'm hoping once our engineering person comes on board, she can spearhead that and be the person on point and get this thing moving.
Where are we currently at? Because Cardinal provided a quote for additional design and some additional borings. They gave a laundry list of
Yeah.
things. The only thing I was in favor of is having them do the additional borings. Because we need that to say whether or not we can do.
Whether they got the blessing or not, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So who would even be the one giving that would be Marsilio?
Or Bill Hurley,
Okay,
or Bill's on vacation next week, I think.
okay.
I would love it if you guys could get that involved in that. I know you're.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I just don't know, I mean, obviously, I can't be the one saying, do it. And especially, I only want them to do one thing, and that's get the borings, and that's if they already
Yeah, that's
have.
on Cardinal focus, but
Right.
in terms of thinking about who might provide the,
Well, once we have borings, I would wanna go to RFP, I think.
Okay.
Maybe have a geotechnical engineer opine on whether or not that project is suitable for directional
yeah.
drilling.
Wouldn't we also want soil testing, because the cost of remediation might, even if the directional drilling was, let's say, even more expensive, it might be less expensive if we found out that we had contaminated soil there, which, given
If
the
it's-
history of the site, that
If
street.
directional drilling is feasible, it's cheaper.
I know, I'm just for illustrative purposes, saying
Okay.
it's so expensive to remove contaminated fill these days.
Right, yeah.
That we want that to factor into the cost-benefit equation.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of risk avoidance, though, I think, out of doing the directional drilling versus trenching,
Yeah.
so. I mean, yes, that's definitely one.
Who would do that?
What, directional drilling?
No, the soil testing.
They would probably have to hire, Ty and Bond's got a certified, yeah.
Ty and Bond did most of it. I thought we were going back and releasing on them to do more. I thought that was like the last meeting, that was like 2 months ago or something with Bill Hurley, that they were.
I think it was, did Ty and Bond do the geotech on that one? Cardinal's the
Cardinal, but
engineer
then
of
Ty and
record.
Bond, Ty and Bond
Were they
must have done the
I
other,
think that was a different,
I know Ty and Bond did the soil testing for the hardening project.
that's it, yeah.
for that other one.
Yeah.
John, are there any other, instead of going through them all, is there any updates?
I reached out to John Marsilio to contact the gentleman that was working on the Thorpe Street.
Yeah.
To get enough, he hasn't gotten back to me, so
Gotcha.
nothing there. Hardening's almost done, there's a meeting tomorrow. They tested the pump stations, they passed, so it's just basically wrapping up the stupid little things, and that should be done. The microgrid is behind the 8 ball again. The transformer's not coming till, well, ship date of December 1st. So we're still paying for a generator to be at pump station 1 or 2, whichever one it is, because there's no power there. So if there was ever a storm, we gotta power it.
Okay.
And that's as far as projects go.
Bypasses.
19 Flushing Avenue.
You're kidding.
No. No, Flushing Avenue, very good. I didn't pick up Flushing Avenue. The problem was grease. There was some grease there, but the other problem was, someone, I'm not saying who, because I don't know, but we're pushing sticks through the holes of the manhole. And they all went right into the invert and packed up with the grease and plugged it off.
You can't make that up.
Unfortunately,
There were little kids pushing them down.
yeah, because what we did was we went out with plugs and plugged the holes. We wouldn't do it anymore. The problem was, the guy that found it took a video of it and sent it to Bill Hurley on the 26th of May. Bill Hurley wasn't in.
Oh, no.
Bill Hurley didn't see it until the day before, Memorial Day. We then contacted somebody from DPW to look at it on Tuesday, and then they told me on Tuesday afternoon that there's water coming out of a manhole. So, we don't know exactly when it stopped, because by the time we got there, it had stopped. But we cleared it, we flushed it, we cambered it, and we'll keep an eye on it. The little holes are plugged up
With sticks?
with rubber plugs.
All right. Thank you, guys. You make a WPCA meeting enjoyable. Your motion to adjourn?
Second.
Chris seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Ron, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks,
Much
Sheila.
better in person.
Thanks, Dennis.
Much
Yep,
better in
take care,
person than
guys.
on-